Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul. I'm with Third Rate Hockey. I wasn't planning on recording an intro for this video, but I figured I might as well because I don't want to waste anybody's time. This video is by somebody, me, that just learned how to use Davinci Resolve to do what I need to do. If you're one of these pros coming in, stumble across my channel, whatever, this video is not for you. This video is for people that want to take they have no prior experience. They haven't done any video editing, and they need to edit a video and this is by somebody that's still new to DaVinci. I figured a lot of stuff out, and I'm putting it out there so that I speak the language of the pro. I'm not going to be using in frames and keyframes and any of that terminology. This is basic English for somebody that's trying to edit a video, and it's specific to a hockey video, but it'll work for any sports video. I have scoreboard on here. I have Slo-Mo. I have other stuff like that. But if you're even mediocre at DaVinci, this video is probably not going to do you any good. But if you're a complete new person, noob, please feel free to watch along. This is a long video. So I have timestamps below, so you can jump to, maybe you want to go back to something or just shoot forward to something. You don't want to put a scoreboard on your video. You can skip a part. I have the time links below, and they should be all segregated in the video itself. But please enjoy, watch, have fun. Welcome to Nerd Rage Hockey. My name is Paul. I'm getting ready to edit my video, and at the request of absolutely nobody, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what exactly I do here. I've already done this, I've recorded it, and now I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. First, we launch Davinci Resolve. We select an Untitled project. I'm going to go ahead and switch directly to the edit screen. I don't know what any of that other screen's for. I want to start this off by saying I'm not a DaVinci pro. I'm not one of these guys that makes a living doing DaVinci. I'm a beer league goalie that edits his videos for the team. So what I'm doing here is I'm switching over to the edit tab. I have little icons instead of the full whatever, but I'm sure you'll have the same icons too. Now I'm browsing out to my hard drive to where I have the videos recorded. My cameras record in 15-minute increments, and I end up with several files. So you'll see that coming up here, where I come out to my season 3, I go to game 25, which is the last one. I have the cameras broken up, camera 1, camera 2, one's on one side, one's on the other, camera behind each goalie. I go into the thing, and I'm dragging these up to the master. Right there, I have power bins. Power bins you can set up for commonly used files. I use power bins, but that's not what I'm going over here. You don't really need that for what I'm doing right now. But I drag the files, and I leave them in their folders. This helps with organization a little bit later. Now it's asking me if I want to change the frame rate. Yes, change the frame rate. And then I'm done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to camera 1 here, and I'm going to highlight all the files, and I'm going to drag them to the timeline. For the timelines, think of these as like a strip of the old cellulose that they had to do movies on. Think of a timeline as that. So I'm going to highlight all these bad boys. I'm going to drag it down to my timeline, and then I'm going to shrink the audio. DaVinci likes to make your audio huge. I guess that's for people that actually use it as a beer league goalie. The sounds are interesting, but they're not pertinent. So I drag that. Now I'm going to come to camera 2. I'm going to change my view to the full. When you click on the little icon over here, it changes it to everything that's. It scrunches the timeline, so you can see everything that's on it. Now I'm going to go to camera 2. I'm going to do the same thing, except what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drag it to the end of the other timeline. I'm going to move it all later, but right now I'm going to edit the timelines one at a time. So it makes things a little bit easier. But first thing I need to do is right now we have a bunch of individual little clips. I want these a little more organized. Once again, I'm shrinking the audio, but I want these organized into periods. Hockey obviously has 3 periods and possibly an overtime, and I want the time frame, or the clips, to be period 1, period 2, period 3, camera 1, period 1, camera 2, or camera 1, period 2, so on and so forth. And that's what I'm getting ready to do now. That's the first step. I'm shrinking the timeline by holding down my Alt and scrolling down. That will automatically switch you over to the non-scrunched up view and let you adjust the size of the timeline. Because right now you can only see a little bit of it, but the Alt will do that. Now I'm going to drag the playhead. That's what this little red line is the playhead. That's what's being broadcast or sent out to. Once again, with my cellulose film strip thing, that's what's being put on the projector out on the screen. That's the playhead. So I'm going to scroll out here. Now what I'm doing here is I'm actually looking at the clock on the far end of the arena, and it's going to scroll down to 0. I do this on this camera because this camera doesn't have a case around it, and as you can see, the sound is pretty much saturated. It records everything, and I can go into my camera and I can change the volume input and all that other good stuff, but right now my settings on the camera are pretty much default. I'm going to find where it's 0. Now here I click on the video itself up top, and then I use my scroll wheel that lets me scroll in. Now you're probably going to see me move the video itself. That's with the center mouse button, your scroll wheel. If you push it down, you can move the center mouse button. So I scroll back until whatever, and then I'm going to start the play, and I'm going to let it count down, and I'm doing this for a reason. Buzzer's going to go off here. I got a long intro coming in here. I misread it. And this is the other goalie, Kevin. Now, as soon as the buzzer stops, I'm hovering over the blade icon. You can use this blade icon. I don't use the blade icon, and the reason I don't use the blade icon is I use the keyboard shortcut for it. It's a Control B to cut. It's just the way I'm doing things. Control B is a lot quicker than reaching over and clicking the blade icon every single time. Now, and then I'm going to highlight. Now, what I did there is I did let me back this up a little bit. I actually, I do the blade, I highlight the area that I want to delete, which is going to be this area right here, and then I'm using the delete key. The delete key will do a delete and trim. This is fine for what I'm doing right here because I want the new beginning of the video to be right where I do the blade cut. A little bit later, you're going to see me deleting stuff out, and I don't want to delete and trim. I want to leave everything chronologically where it is. So I'm going to use the backspace key instead. So here we go again, and Control B, highlight, delete. Now it immediately does the trim. It pulls everything back to the beginning of the video. The video now starts at the end of the buzzer. So here I'm going to go on. I'm going to find the end of the period, once again looking at the clock. And I scrolled in so I can see where it is. And then I'm going to come up here, highlight the end of it. Oh. Whistle, keep going. And makes one last save. Boom. Pause it. Control B. Now I'm going to slide back over here. I'm going to highlight these two clips, and I'm going to right-click them. And then I'm going to do a new compound clip. This is going to take these two pieces and basically splice them together and make this one clip. I'm going to call this camera 1, period 1, because that's what it is. It's camera 1's view of period 1. Now everything that's in between the two cameras is fluff. I don't need it. I'm gonna scroll through. I'm gonna go to the end. I'm gonna find where the buzzer sound is. Wait till the end. Do a Control B. And I'm gonna highlight these. And these ones I'm gonna hit delete because I want the trim. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the second period. Once again, I'm constantly using the Alt and the scroll wheel to adjust the size of the timeline so I can see what's going on. Now, another thing I want to point out is over here, now that I've renamed the clip or combined the clips, new compound clip, you can see that it's camera 1, period 1 in the name of the clip as opposed to the name that my camera gave it. So slide all the way out, once again paying attention to the clock. And adjusting the playhead, here we go. Keep going. Bam, Control B. Highlight both clicks, new compound click, camera 1, period 2. Control B, highlight, delete. Now I'm gonna, if you click on the timeline up there, it'll automatically move the playhead up to where you're close to where you are. Now I'm gonna scroll over here. I'm gonna get to the end. Control B, highlight, and the delete button. Now, in the second camera, I don't have the benefit of having the clock. So as soon as I make all three of these videos, new compound clip, camera 1, period 3, I don't have the benefit of the clock on the other one. But what I do have is the sound, and this one's in a case. So you'll see me scrolling around trying to find where the buzzer is. And I'm using the actual the sound bar, the audio bar, to find where the buzzer goes. Now you'll see me scroll in here. Nope, that's not it. And fortunately, the buzzer has kind of a distinct thing. But when you're in warm-ups, a lot of times they have the your people shooting at you, and you won't see it specifically. So sometimes it's a little struggle. There it is. Pause, Control B, highlight, delete. And then we come out here. Now we're looking for, and what I'm doing here is I'm actually looking on the video timeline, and I can see at this point a red guy's in net, and if you scroll over to the 227 mark, a yellow guy's in net. So I know what I'm looking for is in here someplace. And I see these little bumps right here. I'm guessing that those are the buzzer, and you'll see me scroll right over to it, and sure enough, that's what it is. Pause, Control B, combine clips. Now this one's camera 2, period 1, and then I'm going to go over the other little bump, listen to it, pause right at the end, Control B, highlight, delete. And then I'm going for watching a yellow guy go to a red guy. There we go. Scroll in. Look at that little bump right there. Control B. Control B. Highlight, delete. Now I'm going to highlight all these. This one's just the way it worked out. It's 2. Sometimes it's 3. Camera 2, period 2. Then I'm going to jump over here to the end. I forgot that I had already trimmed it. So here's a little bump. Looks very familiar. Doesn't appear to be the one I'm looking for. Nope. There's a little bump right there. I'm already playing with my water bottle, so that appears to be it. Now I'm going to hit Control B. I'm going to highlight the end of it. I'm going to hit Delete. And now I'm going to combine my clips. Camera 2, period 3. Bam, done. Now what I'm going to do is called color correcting. If you notice the cameras right now, I don't want to say they're dingy, but it's not bright white, and there's a complete art and science to doing color correcting. I'm just eyeballing it. I know it's not the correct way to do it, and every Davinci Pro out there is probably rolling over right now. But and I also notice a little problem here is I have a little see the camera 2 period 3 and then camera 2 period 2. There's something in between them. So I'm going to go highlight that, see what this is. And it appears to be part of camera 2 period 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to highlight that. Okay. Verify that there is indeed stuff there. Highlight them together. New compound clip. Camera 2 period 3. Okay. So back to color correcting. I'm going to go to the first one. I'm going to highlight the first one here. Come to color correcting. You're going to see me jump back because it has the wrong clip highlighted. That's because my playhead was in the wrong area. So I'm going to bring my playhead out here. Come back out to color correcting. And then I'm going to eyeball it. I'm going to use my gain, and I can turn the whole thing pink if I want to, but I don't want to do that. I want it just a little bit wider. Those are the settings I want. From here, I'm going to go ahead and hit Control C, highlight the next one, Control V, Control V, Control V. See how it brightens it all up? Boom, color correcting's done. Now, I can get away with doing this because both my cameras are exactly the same. Sometimes you might have different settings for the different cameras, and you'll have to color correct for one camera and then color correct for the second camera and do your pastes or do your pasting of the settings differently. So here now I want to come into editing the game. This is what I call a rough edit. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to key in on the goalie because if the goalie's standing there doing nothing, there's nothing the camera's recording nothing. If he's doing something, then I know, hey, there's something going on. So you'll see me just browse. Now this is a very quick edit, and I start the cut as soon as he starts doing something. See, he's coming in here. I'm going to do a Control B. Now, what I did there is you saw it disappear. Is this is the backspace key, and it's important that I use the backspace key because I don't want the trim. Otherwise, it would make this the beginning of the video, and we don't want that right now because camera 2 is all the way at the end of the lineup. I'm going to be dragging that camera back over, or that timeline back over. So when I do that, I need this spot where it is, so I can go back and forth between the two cameras, and it's all chronologically correct. So here I watch the goalie come. Oh, look at that! It's icing, and then Control B. Okay, and then I go, keep going, find the next spot where he's not dancing in the crease. Back it up, see where it starts. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm going frame by frame, and how I'm doing frame by frame is I'm using the arrow keys on your keyboard, left, right, and that'll take it one frame at a time, so I can back it up and put it exactly where I want. Then here I put another break, a Control B, and then I highlight the area, and I hit once again backspace because I don't want it to do the trim. Bam, gone. And here I'm not really interested in what's going on, any of that other good stuff. This is just basic. But I got to watch this. There's no way around it. And then as it comes out of the zone, I hit Control B again, and then I go to my scroll head, and he's sitting there taking a break, relaxing, all that other good stuff. I'm going through. Now you will get really good at this. And you'll find that this rough edit is actually not that long of a process. Scrolling in, adjusting the view. Oh, there's some stuff going on. Let me back up. Okay, add my B. Once again, backspace. And makes a save, kicks it out. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. There's a lot of this, and I recorded it all, and we really don't need it. Because once you get the general feel for it, camera 2 period 1. Okay, let me come back here, find this bad boy. Okay, once again, now as I'm coming up to the end of the period, you're going to see me go ahead and even though nothing's happening, I want the buzzer on the goalie. So one last edit, comes in, nothing happens, puck's taken away. Okay, a little break there. Now I when I'm doing my rough edit, I'll put stuff like that in there, and then when I come back to the final edit, I'll be like, yeah, why did I save that? And delete the whole thing, or have a 10-second chunk and keep 2 seconds out of it. It's just, this is the point where I want to keep all this stuff in there. I'll go back and play with that later. But here, trip, come on, sent out of the zone. I'm gonna go forward. And okay, so the action's happening over here. I'm going to Control B, I'm going to hit this, delete. I'm going to record this regardless of what happens. And the reason I do this is because I want to hear that. And I want that there. Later when I drag the other camera over, I'm going to line the end of the period up based on the horn sounding with that right there. That way I know that I'll get them chronologically, and I'll show you that here in a bit. Okay, now I'm going to go in and camera 2 period. Oh, I had jumped all the way. This is camera 1 period 3. This is all the way at the end of the game right now. So once again, I'm doing the last thing. I skipped all. I stopped recording and I skipped all the stuff. Now, camera 1. Periods 1, 2, and 3 are they're all a rough edit right now. So I'm going to get the end of the last klaxon, or the last buzzer. Okay, that's the end of the game for that other camera. Now I'm going to take this camera right here. I'm going to change my view. I'm going to drag camera 2 all the way over, and bam. And then I want to zoom in. I want to make sure that these guys line up with the end of the other period. Now, sometimes whether when you're trimming these things and you're getting it right at the end, sometimes it doesn't line up. It may be up to, I've seen it up to 3 seconds off. I don't know what I was drinking that day, but once I line this up, and sometimes it'll be too long. This period will be too long. I can trim right in the beginning of the video. So. That's me disabling the video 2. I disable the track so I can hear the other klaxon to make sure it's all lined up. Now I'm going to re-enable it. I know it's all lined up. I'm going to lock and disable the video track 1. And the reason I do this is as I'm editing. In theory, if the camera's on one end and the goalie's doing stuff, nothing's happening on the other end. But sometimes I'll take a 3-second video of myself dancing in the crease or something like that, and there's something happening on the other end. This allows me to manipulate that later. Now, I don't remember if I go through and grab the next set and drag it over, which I usually do. Yeah, I do. Bring it over, and I just bring it close, and then I bring it right in here. And now you can see the thing popping. It says, oh, it gets close, and it jumps over. That's because I have this little magnet thing turned on. If you don't like that, you can turn the magnet thing off. Just click it and it'll go off. So then I make sure, once again, I do come back in here, and you see me changing my views all the time, and okay, that looks like it's all lined up with the end of the next period, and then I drag this one in. Boom. Okay, now everything appears to be lined up. And I'm at an hour and 5 minutes on the video. Perfect. So now I'm going to come back over here. Make sure that's... I'm going to mute the first audio track as well and lock it as well. And then I'm going to repeat the process with camera 2. I'm going to just come in here and start doing all my editing. Once again, keying in on the goalie. Back it up, back it up, back it up, and Control B. Once again, I'm using the backspace key. Now you see why I'm using the backspace key, because if I was trimming, they would all be on top of each other. So now, do the action, me floundering around like a fish. Okay, they're coming out of the zone, Control B, and continue editing. Now, I'm going to jump to... And I think I did the same thing when I was recording all this video, but did I do the end? And I do the trick here with watching the little bump for the end of the period for the klaxon, and then edit, 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 edit. Nothing happens. Bam. Okay, now let me go ahead and... Okay. This is the fully edited video. You see all the little chunks and pieces taken out, and you can see on the timeline where nothing should be over each other. So now I'm going to bring the... my playhead back here. I'm going to scroll out again. And now I'm going to take these two video timelines and I'm going to combine them into one. You can leave them like this, but I prefer it all down in one. I actually used to... I have a keybind to get rid of all the empty spaces on video I was watching. It showed you how to do that, and for me I set it up as Control G. Don't remember how I did it. I get hit in the head a lot. But anyways, but I don't do that anymore, and because this is more a fine edit, when I come into this video, now I'm looking at here, and I can go with my arrow keys, go frame by frame, make sure it starts where I want it to start, ends where I want it to start, and here there was just me floundering around the crease. I don't want that. Delete, gone. Once again, I'm using the backspace key because I don't want to do this. Now here I actually mess up because I unlocked the video track, but I didn't unlock the audio track. Now this will allow the audio and the video tracks to get separated. You want to make sure that when you unlock them both, or when you unlock one, you unlock them both, because otherwise you're going to run into what I did here. Excuse me. And that's I start making changes, and I hit delete, and if you notice, when I did that delete, the sound didn't move with it. So I figured that out here in about 30 seconds when I'm like, what is this random sound over here? And then I realized I didn't unlock the audio track. So I go back and yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. What is this? And I get to the point where, oh, there it is. Unlocked. Now I have to use my favorite key of all time, which is Control Z. That's undo. Fortunately, I wasn't too far into it. So you'll see me hit Control Z several times like, okay, wait a minute. 1 and 1 is still adding to 11 right now. And then I'm going to get a random... I'm looking for the video associated with this audio file. Then I delete it, and then I notice that all my audio files on video 1 are no longer in sync. And I don't know. I was kind of slow this day. Oh yeah, here I am. ZZZ. Control Z. And then unlock. and then unmute. Okay, now we can start editing this stuff again. And then here. Okay, now delete that because nothing happened. Drag this down to timeline 1. Look at it. And this actually takes a little bit longer than the previous one because I'm looking at the individual start, stop times and whatnot. This game, I left a lot of video on the cutting room floor. There was a lot of back and forth, sustained pressure in the zones. It was a good game. They were passing around my zone for a long time, and there's some great offense being played, but sometimes when I was done editing it, it was like 25 minutes long. And I don't want to put a 25-minute video on YouTube. You know, people lose interest and whatnot. So I ended up cutting a lot of the good back and forth play out, and just started showing the saves and whatnot and goals. So okay, definitely want to keep that. That was a good push, post to post push. Okay, bring it down. Here I'm going to delete. I'm going to do a manual trim because I'm just clicking on the area between the videos, and then I'm hitting backspace. You can hit delete too, it doesn't matter. So now it goes from there to right here, flashes. Now, you have a bunch of transitions on the left. I'm not going over those, but you can actually use transitions where they fade in, fade out. But if you do that, you want to leave a little extra on your video clips. You know, the last second of after I would normally trim or cut it and go. I would leave an extra second and a half. That way, when it's doing the transitions, fading in, fading out, it's not cutting over the stuff you want to see. Bam! Look at that. The guy blazing in there. Highlight here. Bam. Okay, now it goes back to Kevin, and he makes save, so on and so forth. And then I scroll in. Now that stuff's gone. Okay. Here I'm showing myself go over the actual clip itself to see if there's anything I can't cut off to reduce time. And I think this is me trying to figure out what exactly happened to the puck. Oh, nope. This is me editing. Bam. Okay, hits him in the back, hits the side of the net, and then goes between his legs right there. Okay, done. And it's just more and more of this. You're going over the video itself, bringing it into one track. Now, let's see how far I take this. I want to get to... Okay, oh, nope. Okay. Now, I am prepping for adding the scoreboard, which I'm going to do a little bit later. But whenever there's a goal scored for my team, I always slow-mo the video and then put their names up and all that other good stuff. So, you know, my guys can see oh, hey, look, I scored. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to use my arrow keys. I'm going to say, okay, it starts here. I'm going to hit Control B. And then he gets the shot off. Bam, goes in the net. I'm going to scroll forward a little bit. I'm going to Control B again. Now what I'm going to do is I'll highlight this clip right here, and I'm going to hit Control C. This is obviously a copy. And then come in here, hit Control V. I'm going to zoom in, or using my scroll key. And you see, after you've been doing this a while, you just automatically do it. So, and then I'm going to come in here. Now, if you notice up here in the corner, it's highlighted in audio. I don't care about the audio, so I need to switch over to the video, and you'll see me do that once I figure out what's going on. Oh, video. And I'm going to come down. I'm going to do a speed change. And I'm going to click. Now, if you put your thing over and drag it left and right, it's going to change it. I'm just going to switch it. I'm going to click it once to highlight it in red, and then I'm going to change it to 50. Now, what that does is it changes this little clip right here, the 1 second that was happening that I copied and pasted out here. It's going to change it to 50% speed, but notice it didn't automatically increase the size. So it's only going to be a half second. So I have to manually go in and drag it out. And then as you do it, see, bam, it hits the back of the net, comes out here, and then I'm going to stop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the toolbox. I'm going to use the text effects. This is part of the Davinci stuff. You get it in the free version, whatnot, but you know. So I'm going to come back here. Now I have a favorite, and I use favorites so I don't accidentally put the wrong one. Sometimes it's on the left, sometimes it's on the right and corner, whatnot. So I have my favorite titles over here. This is a fusion title. I'm going to grab my drop in lower third, and I'm going to put it on video 2. This track is occupied by other stuff right now, but because I drug it down to video 1, it's available. So I'm going to come in here, highlight here. Now here I use my Chrome to pop in there, go to the link page or the page, click on ice wrinkles. Now you're gonna see me back up here in a sec, and then I'm gonna open up a new page. Oops. And now I have the actual. This is my team. And it tells me how many goals they scored. And then on the other page, it's going to tell me who scored the first goal. Click there. I know number 22 scored. Number 22 is John. I'm going to copy, come in here, change that to goal. And then Control V to John Darling. And then how many goals did John Darling score over the course of the season? So here I'm going to come in here and look. 22. Okay, he scored 4 goals this game. It was a good game for him. He's got 19 goals now, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract that and come up with 15. I'm math. Good. 16. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't think anybody reads these anyways. Now come in here and watch it. Bam, shot. Okay, now what I want to do is, because we move stuff around and whatnot, I want to make sure that this drop in lower third text bubble is linked to this clip. So I'm going to right click it, link clips. Now if I move this around for some reason, if I pick this up and drag it over, it's going to drag the little bubble with it. So that's how I do the Slo-Mo, and that's how I do the text over. Now you can get really fancy with these things. You can change the colors. You can do all that other good stuff. Look at all the stuff going in here. Now, what you see here is, let me back this up a tad bit. Is when I do all this stuff, and then I go back and preview it. The drop in lower third throws the name up. See how slow it's throwing it up? I want it to go a little bit quicker, and after I link this, I realize, hey, I want that to go up quicker. Now, it's a pain in the butt to get back. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I don't know how to do it. So I have to unlink the clips once I realize that, okay. So I'm going to unlink the clips. I'm going to select this clip. I'm going to go back into it, and I'm going to change the animation delay. Right there, it's 3. I'm going to change that to a 1 or a 2. And I'll do that based on how if it's only a second, I'll change it to 1. See how quick it pops up? Okay, now I'm going to come back in. I'm going to make sure that they're linked together again. And then I was a little confused as to why it didn't do that. So right click, link clips. Bam, done. Okay, now I'm going to continue editing. So here, see it transition into here. Now, and once again, I'm going through looking for goals, looking for whatnot. Now, yeah, there nothing happened there. So, like I say, this is the time sync of this project. Okay. Now, I'm throwing this. This actually came back. I remembered later. Oh crap! I didn't mark their first goal. I'm throwing just a regular text up here. I'm not even going to change it. I don't, just basic title. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm doing this to annotate that they scored on me. So later when I'm adding the scoreboard, I know that every time I come in across one of these little bubbles on video 2 to do my thing, to adjust the scoreboard. Now here I'm coming to the end of the period. And what I end up doing here is I look at both clips. What's going on? I'm doing nothing, grabbing my water bottle. The puck's over there, so I'm just going to delete mine. You know, I was using those clips to line up the periods, so... But when I'm doing the video, I don't want to cut those out completely because suddenly you don't want the goalies jumping from one side to the other without an explanation. And you want the period, you know that your audience knows the period ended. Now here, what I'm doing is I'm doing a speed change, and I saw a video where the guy was able to do mark in, mark out points and say, okay, I want the speed to change at this point right here. And I don't do it that way. Like I said earlier, I've been hitting the head a lot, so I forgot how to do that. I know it's possible, but this is how I do a speed change. I come to the point right here. My guy gets the shot off. Kevin makes the reaction, hits him in the collarbone, and I know he's hurt, so I put the Control B right there. And what I'm using the arrow key right here to go frame by frame. And then I do another thing, and I drag this out. I'm going to zoom in, highlight, speed change, 50. Now, what I'm doing right here, too, is I'm looking at where the puck is, right here, because I got to line this up again because I'm doing this manually. So I come in here, I do this right here. He makes this the play, and the puck's right there. Delete here. Now I'm going to come back and watch it. And it's going to come in. My guy skates in 100 miles an hour, winds up, bam, oh, ow, okay. Now back to regular speed. Kevin's hurt. Sorry, Kevin. And then I'm just going to throw some text in here. Drag it down. Shrink it. Shrink it. This is basic title because that's when I'm going to put ouch. Now you're going to see this is, what is a color bone? Collar. Yeah, a bone. You know what? I'm not sure I spelled that correctly, so I'm going to go ahead and just put ouch. Okay. Now I left this in here because I want you to see where I'm changing because I don't want it in the middle position. So I'm going to come to horizontal position and then vertical position, and I'm going to put that down below it. Oh, what the heck did I just do? Oh, I must have jumped the thing. Okay, so anyways, that's how I add the slow-mo in the thing. Now, for every single goal, I whether for or against, I have a little timeline thing, and you can see here. I jump back to the beginning of the clip. I've got a good minute and a half. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm adding an intro. You may not have an intro, you may have an intro, whatever, but that's part of my master of my power bins. I know that season 3, intro 3, this is my third iteration of it. I drag it down, and then I use my ribbon text. I come in here. Now this whole video is edited. It's ready to go. I've done all my stuff. So I'm gonna drag this up in here. Bam. I'm gonna switch over because who the heck were we playing? We were playing the replacements. So ice wrinkles. So I don't have to type it. I'm gonna copy it. Come in here, click on it. Control V. Don't know why it added a space at the beginning, but we'll get rid of that. And we were the away team, so I'm going to put at replacements. Now this is just how I'm setting that up. I'm going to delete that. Blam. Okay. There we go. Now, come in here, delete this. This lines everything up now. Okay, so the game's all lined up. It's all edited. It's ready to go. I'm ready to. If you're not adding a scoreboard, you can jump to the part where I deliver it. It's rendering it. But here I'm going to go over adding a scoreboard. This was me screwing around one time trying to do a scoreboard. It didn't work very well. there, and then come over here. I'm going to move the playhead over here, and then realize this is the scoreboard I messed up on. So let's go ahead and delete that. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Got to hit backspace, not delete. So here, come out here. I'm going to go back over to my hard drive someplace. Oh, and I'm adding a track. This is for the scoreboard. You can do that by right-clicking. And the scoreboard I'm looking for is not there, so I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to go into my intro directory. I'm going to find it. It's the missing leg one. Oh, scoreboard layout 2. That's what it is. Now I'm going to drag it down here. That's the one. Now, don't panic because it's huge and in the way. We're gonna modify this. I obviously not gonna leave that the whole way, so I'm gonna drag it over to where it needs to be. Or no. First, I'm gonna unzoom it, and then I'm gonna drag it over to the beginning after the intro. Shablam. Now I'm gonna put it up on the top once again using the positioning. We want to leave the X alone because we want it in the middle, so we want the Y. And I'm going to drag it up to the top. Keep going. And all I'm doing is clicking it and sliding right. And I'm going to get it to where it needs to go. Bam. Okay. Now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to grab the edge of it. I'm going to drag it out. I stop because all these changes I made are only for this specific one. So I'm going to hit Control-C so I can copy the scoreboard right now. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do these changes every single time I throw that JPEG up there. So, bam, bring it out here. Basic title. That's just where they scored on me. I'm going to hit Control-V. And then drag it out to where we score on them. Bam. Control-V. And I'm going to do this for in between each one. Now, notice there's no writing or anything on the scoreboard. That's because that is going to be yet another layer. So, and I don't know if I recorded every single one of these. I think I might have. Control-V. Now, see, what I was doing there is I realized that wasn't a goal. That was Kevin getting hit in the collarbone. So then I'm going to drag this on. And once again, I'm using my alt scroll wheel. Oh, too much. That's Slo-Mo. That's pretty much a goal, sure. Because I've got that magnet thing on, it doesn't... it likes to jump forward and backwards. You can turn that off. I just deal with it. And I'm going, and I'm going. So let's go ahead and go to the thing. Okay. This is me. Let me back up 10 seconds and see. Okay. Now I'm going to do a text. I've got the scoreboard laid out exactly where I want it. So I'm going to do text. I'm going to drag it down here. And open this up. Put my playhead over here. So it says basic title, whatever. Now I'm going to change this to ice wrinkles. Oh, I'm going to move it up. There, get it close. And then change this to ice wrinkles. They were the hip replacements back in when we first started this, but I'm going to shrink the size, and now I'm going to fine tune it to get it exactly where I want it. And you'll see me zoom in here in a sec. And I'm just adding spaces is all I'm doing. Change the size a little bit. You're just fine tuning this. and sliding it over, once again fine-tuning it. Now, once again, if I was to do this, you're going to see me copy this, because every time the score changes, I'm going to have to go in there and do this, and I don't want to have to resize and place it. And so here, and then I'm going to put a 0, 0 on the end of this, and make sure it's all in the red. Zero. Down here. 0. And then say, okay, well, I can slide this over a little bit more. Bring it up right there. Boom. Perfect. Now I'm going to copy this. And then I'm going to drag it out until I get to the first goal. And one thing I do want to notice, if you notice down here, it says text, ice wrinkles 0, replacement 0. So you can see the score. You can see the score on the one before. So that gets important if you accidentally forget to, here I'm going to do a Control V, which is going to do a little one right here. And then I'm going to change that. The replacement scored on me, 1. Now, if you forget to do this sometimes, and I've done it, because you'll forget to copy it over. Now that was me just deleting the marker that annotated that they scored, because I don't do slow-mo. I don't want to see myself scored in slow motion, so I just don't. And the important part is I originally used delete, then I hit Control Z to bring it back, and then hit backspace so it doesn't do the trim, because it'll trim the piece underneath it as well. Okay, now after I make the changement, I want to copy that again. That way I don't have to keep track of the stuff. And then I drag it out here. Bam. Come on. There we go. And you'll see me zoom in, get it all the way to the point right here, and then bring the playhead over here. What you're not seeing is I'm scrolling up and down on the timelines. And Control V. Come on, Control V, and then I'm going to go change the score. 1, and then copy it. And drag it all the way out until we score again. Now, that's how I do the scoreboard, and you have to do that for the whole game. And I think I recorded all of that. You see me see ice wrinkles 5, replacements 1, keep going. I want to get to the point now where I want to show you the delivery options. Why did I record all that? Okay, here we go. I think this is it. Now what I do here, okay, I've got the whole video. This is what the video looks like now after doing all that stuff. And if I scroll up, you can see the scoreboard, because that's on video 3 and 4. So now I got all these things in the scoreboard. Everything's good to go. So let's go ahead and, oh, I exited. Forget I said that. One of the things that I notice is I get cross-eyed when doing the videos. If I sit down and I'm like, I'm going to do this video for the full, hour or whatever that it takes to do it, hour and a half to do it, I'll get cross-eyed. So I need to go take a break. And that's probably what I was doing here. So here, to game 25. Oh, nope. I lied. That was after I'd already delivered it, so I went too far ahead. Oh, here it is. Okay. This is me. We finally finished doing what we need to do. We've edited everything. Now I need to deliver this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the delivery tab. It's the one that looks like a rocket. And the delivery is This is a 14-minute video with everything being, all the trimming, all the stuff is still 14 minutes, which is longer than it usually is. But this was a back and forth game, so. Now, the program that I use to record all this stuff is, as you can see it down here in the thing and down here, is OBS. OBS, you do not want to be running OBS when you're rendering. So I will actually stop OBS so you won't see me click all the rendering and whatnot. And let it render without it, because it'll turn a 20-minute render into a 3-hour render. So, but I am going to record me doing all the settings, and these are important too. Because now I'm coming to the deliver tab. Okay, this is important. This right here, this is the file name. We're just going to call it Game 25, whatever the heck. But the codec that we're using, the 264, which is the default, and I haven't changed it. And the reason I haven't changed it is because when I have it in 265, my system gets a little laggy when I'm editing the video. If I leave it at 264, everything is fine while editing the video. But when I go to publish the video, I need to make sure that I change that to 265. Now here, I click Browse because this is the folder that I want to put it in. I'm going to go to my Volume D. This is my video drive, basically. I'm going to go to Game 25, which is where I got all the Camera 1 and Camera 2 video, that stuff out. I'm going to call it Game 25. And then I'm going to change it to 265. And it's pretty much ready to go. You can change your timeline resolution. Now, I'm working on a 1080p monitor, but my camera's recording 4K. You can do that. That's perfectly fine. And you can, the output will even be 4K. But you can change it to what, if you want to publish it at 1080 and higher frame rate or whatever, you can change all that here. So I'm just showing you the options. I leave mine at 4K, which is the 3840 by 2160. And I'm going to click Add to Render Queue. Now, it's going to put it over here to your right, but it hasn't rendered it yet. So at this point, I'm going to drop out of OBS so I can actually do the render. And then you click Render All. And then it should jump forward here in a sec. I think I gave myself some time to talk. Bam, done. Okay. It completed the job. It's a 15-minute video. My computer does it 9 minutes and 29s. You're going to get different mileage from your computer. You can be faster, it could be slower. The computer I'm using is an old Ryzen 3600 with a 6600 video card, AMD 6600. So it was a decent system 4 or 5 years ago, but the newer systems are much better. And here, what I'm going to do is, what am I doing? Oh, I'm coming to the end of it. Okay, that's fine. Everything's done. Now, what I typically do is make sure the project saves, and I'm saving throughout this project. I've had an issue where my computer crashed. I don't know if it was Davinci or whatnot, but it crashed, and fortunately, Davinci was really good about picking up. I only lost about 5 minutes worth of edits. So here, I'm going to close. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to go to Drive D, Season 3, Game 25. I'm going to verify the video's there. I'm going to pull up properties on it. Now, another thing with the 265 codec versus the 264 codec, if I would have done this with the 264, that file would be about 20 gigs right now. With the 265, it's only 3 and a half. So, and then what I typically would do is I would launch the video to make sure it works. I've had issues where I put it out before and it didn't work. Something happened, and then when I go back into the Davinci, and it'll tell me, oh, there was an error at this time, and it ended up being one of the little add-in things that I added to it. It didn't like it for some reason. So once I got rid of that add-on, because it kept failing at the same 7-minute mark every single time. You go out to the 7-minute mark, and there was a special effect that I added. Okay, well, I deleted that, and as soon as I deleted it, it got through. But I always view this. Now, I know that it works, and here's my little logo, and it took me 4 or 5 hours to do that 5 seconds. Actually, it took me 4 or 5 hours to learn how to do it, and then it only took me about 5 minutes to do that little, the spinning logo and whatnot. And here, I just want to come through. I want to make sure everything's good to go. Okay, I'm going to close it. I'm going to pull up properties on it. and I want to make sure that it's set to details. Okay, that's the right frame rate. Kit caboodle, it's all good to go. I didn't screw up when I was delivering it. So now we're going to publish this bad boy to YouTube. So the first thing I'm going to do is come up in here. I'm going to go to YouTube. In the upper right hand corner, it's going to say create, upload video. Drag and drop. Slide that over. Bam, done. Now it's going to come in and ask me all the pertinent questions. What do you want to call it? I don't want to call it Game 25. I'm going to make up something about old people because, you know, we're all old people. And then, or I'm just going to sit here and look at this and go, well, what was I doing? Okay, okay. Yeah, this is actually harder than it seems. Because you're out there, you want something unique, something that you haven't. You know, retirees can only attack so many times. Old people can be found floating on ice, whatever. But it always seems, and you could do, you know, oh, see this date and this time and game whatever the verses whatever. But I usually try to come up with something clever, unique, maybe a little catchy out there. I do my YouTube channel for my team. You know, they can see their goals and you know, and then I do it for myself to learn from my mistakes. So, and then you just put ice wrinkles at blah blah blah. That way you can search it later. And then when all's said and done, you're gonna make sure it's. I always put it's not designed for children because, you know, no, but okay, Paulie, come on. Okay. Why did I record myself typing all this stuff? Whatever. But anyways, as you scroll down there'll be little things. Was this generated for kids? I always click no. And then it's going to come up with the next screen looking for copyright violations. My intro music I paid for myself. It was a Fiverr deal. I had some Swedish dude write a tasty lick for me. So that's what he put in. Oh, here's your tasty lick. Okay, thank you. So I ended up tipping him like $10 or whatever it was, and I paid the $10. So it cost me $20 for my intro music. But I don't ever have to worry about getting flagged on YouTube. I keep my receipt. I keep the whole kit and caboodle. No, I don't want it on a playlist. No, it's not made for kids. Hit next. Yeah. Standard definition. I even put that up here so you can read it, even though you can be able to read it yourself. Next. And then I copy this right here, and then I let it go public and publish. And I do not use the instant premieres because then it starts counting down your channel like, you know, you have 1 million subscribers and they're all going to want to come watch your feed and blah, blah, blah. No, I just tell it, publish it as public. And then it tells me uploading 20 minutes left. That's obviously going to depend on your time, or your time's going to depend on your internet speeds. You know, some will be quick, some will be slow. And then I leave this open and I stop recording. But that's how I publish the videos up on the internet. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop this. Hopefully this one's not too long.